How's it going, everyone? I'm Venom back with game 3 of this best of 3, so the final game, the concluding, deciding game of Leenock versus Zest. Zest here is in the bottom left of Overgrowth, Red Protoss. His opponent, going hatchery first, is Leenock, the Panda Zerg, multi-time MLG champion, facing off against multi-time GSL champion. The GSLs belong to the Protoss player, who is going to go for a Gateway Expand fast Nexus build. He's going to do a little bit of probe harass, and what you see here is he's trying to mine the minerals with the probe to mess up the drone AI, and Leenock is counteracting it manually by re-clicking the drones onto these close patches. But essentially what Zest is doing is trying to make these, see that drone right there, that one right there, how he bugged out and went to this top patch? That's because Zest is doing this and making the AI malfunction. So doing every little thing he can is Zest, and I like to see that. Doing the little things. It's the little things that count, right? He's made a Cyber Core at his natural. Standard stuff. I love Overgrowth because it's so easy to wall. It's Terran and Protoss. And although it's not the most small choke in the world, I really like these little pipes because they provide such a snug, clear wall in. I feel like on some maps, I'm not really, especially the ones with like big ramps like Newkirk, I feel like a lot of the times I'm prone to mess up my wall or not really know it's perfectly snug. On Overgrowth, it's so easy. Everything's completely lateral, you know, east to west, straight across. It's not a ramp like this where there's any sort of up and down to deal with. It's just straight across, very simple. If you're a new player, this is a great map to play on, and you don't want to have Overgrowth vetoed because it's basically just like what you would call a cookie cutter map. Like the third's pretty easy to take, the fourth's pretty easy to take. You know, there's two towers in the middle. The main doesn't have too much exposed. The only weird thing is this gold. But this is a good map to learn on Overgrowth. Leenock is going for the same drop build that he went for in Game 2, which is interesting because obviously that's the game he won. Now, a bit of deviation from Zest as we see Resonating Glaives being chronoed, and this is a great move to see. In Games 1 and 2, Zest delayed all of his gateways except for obviously the very first one that he made to go for Tech, to go for Twilight, Robo, this DT drop build, but in this game he's saying, okay, I need to play more safe, and I'm going to do that by getting a couple of gates. And these gates are going to be very useful to dealing with, very useful for dealing with this drop, because at this point he has a couple of adepts, which in themselves the adepts are going to be very good at dealing with the sling drop because they do bonus damage to light units. But once Resonating Glaives finish, which they're already about halfway done, this will just be a slaughter. Zest doesn't want to lose anything, so he pulls a handful of workers because he doesn't want to get his adepts surrounded, and look at that. Okay, Leenock delayed a little mining, big deal. Zest didn't take any damage at all. Last game he was crippled. The three gateways are going to be turned on. A Robo is on the way. Zest is chronoing away the Resonating Glaives. And he might look to take a third base here, because if he was going to do an all-in, he would have added the warp gates already. Speaking of all-in, Baneling Nest on the way for Leenock is in true like 2011 Zerg style. If the first all-in with the Lings doesn't work, we're just going to try to blow down the door with Banelings, and that's what Leenock's going to do. His little drop didn't work, so he's going to try to just blow the door down with Banelings. And let's just watch Zest vision for a second, because he sees three bases. He just saw that little commitment to that one stupid dropper lord. For all he know, Leenock could have 45 drones, and that could have just been 8 Lings. So we're just going to watch from Zest's perspective and see what he sees. He's already gone out to take a third, and at this point he has a Warp Prism going out. He loads 2 Adepts into it. He's adding extra gateways. Great stuff. He's playing a standard macro game. Has no idea he's about to get obliterated with Banes. Saw a little blip on the mini-map there. Just a tiny little blip, but wasn't really sure what it was. Wasn't a huge massive units, and look at his vision right now. He's thinking, okay, maybe I'll walk my units out to claim my third base, and oh my god, Banelings! And I lost my army. Shit! And that might be the best of 3 for Zest. We're going to bounce back to everyone vision, and that's what it looks like to lose to a Baneling all-in as a Code S player. And it's very easy to lose to a baneling all-in. Baneling all-ins are very tricky because if they catch you right in the suck hole when you don't expect it, like we just saw from Zest, it's just brutal. Oh, and these two banes could eviscerate the probes. Oh my lord. Oh! Oh, that was brutal. Tons of workers going down. 21 workers have been eviscerated. 23 workers to 27, so Leenock is really all in, but he's going to kill the main, and he's going to kill these gates. This is so bad for Zest. He was just trying to macro, poor guy. He flew out with the Warp Prism and probably thought to himself, if I was getting all in, I would see it. But at this point, he's lost his entire main. He's in this horrible position where he has to try to force field both his own ramp and his natural wall in. So it's just so hard. Banelings come out, force field goes down, the Banelings come in, do a little damage, but at this point, Zest is just too far behind. It looks like Leenock's going to take the best of 3. Leenock did a lot of aggression in these last 2 games. In Game 2, it was the drops, and in Game 3, it was the Banelings and Zest falls. So if you enjoyed that, make sure that you subscribe for more. Click the little bell icon too.